Welcome to the Frozen Forum podcast. I'm your host, Alex Nagy, joined by our other host, Nathan DaCosta. How's it going, Nathan?
Doing well. It's a good day, but the Habs have not been so hot this past week, so we're going to have to dive into that and speak to what's been happening there.
We definitely will. We came into this week from last week's podcast saying, if we could win 2 out of the 3 games, this would be a good stretch of 3 games. We did not come close to doing that. So not a big fan of that, but I think you still have some 3 stars that you want to talk about maybe. Maybe we can get into those, and then we'll go into the actual game recaps and then maybe talk a little bit about what else is going on in the NHL. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Guess we'll start off with the first star. I would say I don't think the goalies played bad this week. I think the biggest issue this week were the defense, and we can dive into that later. But yeah, I would just say the goalies as a whole get the first star. They did not play terrible.
Okay.
The second star, he had 2 goals this week. Brendan Gallagher. He had a very good game against the Capitals and then got another one against the Flames. And then my third star, Caulfield, he's still on fire. Caulfield's on fire. It's still Caulfield, number 3. That's what I'm going for.
First in the league, baby.
Yep.
Still first in the league.
Yep.
Oh, gotta love it. I want to throw I like the Brendan Gallagher shutout, and I think your 3 stars are right. I got no qualms. I want to put on the radar though going into next week. I think Alex Newhook might make his way up next week. I really liked his progression this week.
Okay.
I mean, they put him on. We talked about this too by the Calgary game that we played last night. Newhook, Slavkovsky, and Jake Evans was the second line of our team, which just sounds totally ridiculous because Jake Evans is like a 4th line center and Alex Newhook is maybe a 3rd line center, and then you're putting them with Uri Slavkovsky, who used to be on our first line. But I really liked the makeup of that line. I thought they had a lot of really good things to say. Obviously not enough to make that 3-star list, but we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get into the Calgary Flames game.
Yes.
Do you want to just go right into the games then?
Yeah, let's go right into it. So yeah, we'll start off with the Caps game. The first period, I think all that really happened there, the Caps had 1 power play, didn't capitalize. Not a very eventful first period. No goals were scored. Is there anything you saw in particular? I didn't. I don't think there's too much happening there.
I mean, that Washington game was just like, it was last Thursday, right? And again, we're going into this game thinking, I mean, Washington's been hot, right? We know this. Like, they've been a lot better than they're supposed to be this season. And like, we knew that. I just think the Washington, it happened again on Saturday with, we played Pittsburgh, right? On Saturday? Yeah, we played Pittsburgh. And so it happened in both games where we just came out so flat. Like, nothing's happening in the first period. We just forget to start the game. It's like, I don't know if we actually got burned in that Washington game. When was the first goal scored?
First goal was scored 3 minutes into the second.
Yeah. So no goals are scored in that first period. We definitely didn't deserve that, though. Like we played awfully in that first period. And it's just, we kind of got away with one there.
Yep.
Again, though, to come out of that period tied 0-0, a pretty positive thing to say, right? You're looking at a low-scoring game. We're going to try to play good defensively. And then Nathan DaCosta, what happens in that second period?
Second period, I mean, there's nothing. I think it was Primo in net. Let me double-check. But there's nothing the goalie that could do there. I mean, the Caps had a power play. It was an Alex Ovechkin shot tipped in by Tom Wilson. So, yeah, it was Primo. Yeah, there's not too much you can do there. So it's 1-0, like 3 minutes into the second. And then we get a power play, like 4 minutes later. And our boy, Mr. Caulfield, gets a goal, gets a power play goal for us. It was a nice one, too. Puts it right in the basket where he normally is, right from Suzuki. And, yeah, that brings the game to 1-1. And then our second star of the week, less than a minute later, comes in and scores from Lane Hutson. It actually looked like Lane Hutson's goal. It was a nice rip from the point. but Gallagher got his stick there last second. I don't know. I might have been saved if Gallagher didn't get his stick on that, but primary assist from him. No complaints.
Lane Hutson looks pretty good, eh?
Yeah, looking very good.
I don't know how many times we can say that on this podcast, but man, that kid is good.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so 2-1. Everything's looking good. What happens next?
Next, less than a minute later, come in, and Brendan Duhaime gets a puck out front where our defenders are sleeping. I don't know where the hell our defenders are for both the second, third, and fourth goals. I don't know what they're doing, covering the man in front like they should be doing.
And this isn't like a power play. Like they're not on a power play or anything like that. Like we've got 5-on-5 hockey, and you're not covering a guy. Like
5, like all three, like the second, third, and fourth goal for the Capitals, Primo's fault. Like there should have been a man on him. That's what I got to say about that. So yeah, Brendan Duhaime scores, Jacob Vrana scores, and then towards the end of the second period, once again our boy Lane Hutson makes a nice play on the point to David Savard. Savard goes to Suzuki, and Suzuki instant release, just one times it into the bottom corner. Just what we like to see. And we actually go into the third period 3-3. So it's not even looking terrible.
I think the biggest thing that I took out of this game, Nathan, is like we're in the first period, we're like low scoring, good defensive game. We're going to focus on that. All of a sudden, the second period comes, and you're like, what on earth just happened? Like back and forth, and the defense is nowhere, and we somehow come out of it tied, which again I don't necessarily know if we should have or we deserve to per se. But we take it when we can take it, right? You go into this third period, you're tied. I don't know about you. I feel like I would be pretty hyped up if I'm on the team to be like, hey, tie game, we're in this, we can win this. And then the third period comes, nobody showed up.
Defenders are sleeping. Like Lane Hutson looks like he's. I swear this kid has unlimited endurance. Like he could play the whole game if he wanted to. But the rest of our defenders, my God, it looks like I don't know what the hell they need, but they just look like they're asleep.
Doesn't it look like they trained by like sprinting, but they're training for like a marathon?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like what are you doing? Like how can you not get to the end of these games?
I know.
And it just continually happens where the first period, like it's one thing too if you start the game really really fast and you slow down as it goes. It's like that's not even what we're doing. We're like starting slow, barely ramping it up properly for the second period, and then just falling flat on our face in the third period.
I said it's not a 40-minute game. It seems like that's our biggest problem right now.
Yeah, that's it. No kidding, eh?
Yeah, at least for our defenders. So, yeah. Nobody's picking up Connor McMichael in front. It's a pretty free goal for him 4 minutes into the third period. 30 seconds after that, I honestly don't really remember this one. Protas scores. And then 5-3. Ovechkin's in his place where he always just fires off those one-timers, and he gets another goal. I mean, it's Ovechkin. What are you going to do on that one?
I mean, I'll take it because he's on my fantasy team, but like,
yeah,
God, like you cannot allow. It's one of the things. I don't know what Cole Caulfield watches for video. Like I know these guys are watching a lot of film and stuff. Alex Ovechkin's ability to be in his office on that left side of the ice and somehow always be open. Like, I know it's not just him, right? Like, the other players on their team contribute to that because they open up space, they move around, and they find him when he is open. But, like, that needs to be what Cole Caulfield's doing. And not to say that Cole Caulfield's not doing great things, because obviously, first in the league in goals right now would say otherwise. But if he wants to have this continued success on this one-timer, I see no problem with it, first of all. I don't see why you need to be some super dynamic player. If you can score 50 goals from the left dot, score 50 goals from the left dot. Like, I'll take them. I'll take every single one of them. But, like, Alex Ovechkin just gets open somehow all the time. It's like 5-on-5 hockey, and nobody's on him. Like that one goal he scored in the game. Did he score 2 against us, or was it just 1?
It was just that last goal.
Just that last goal. He like double clutched it. He didn't even have time. Like he didn't one time it, but like nobody could get to him in the time it took him to get the puck back on his stick and into the net. You know, it's like we're just falling over each other. Like I think that was the one where Matheson is like falling over Primo as Primo's trying to get up and stuff, and like it just looks like a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
And Ovi's just there and he just scores. Like it's like,
yep.
You know,
he's a wizard, the Russian wizard. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yep.
But that was the last goal of the game, 6-3. Scored against Primo, but honestly, I don't think they were his fault.
Not a lot of good things coming out of this game, eh?
No.
Like, I don't know about you. I did not have very many good feelings. It's again coming off of the week before. You know, you really just want to be able to build and look like you know you don't have to win games. This is the whole thing with the Habs this season. We don't have to win the games. We just have to look like we're building, right? And we need to show development. And this game, like, all around, nobody played well. There's nobody on the team that I could say, wow, that was like a fantastic appearance by, you know, say Alex Newhook or Uri Slavkovsky. It's like nothing was going on. So then that goes into Saturday.
That brings us
I don't see any reason to stay on this Capitals game. We'll go right to the Pens game.
Yeah, right to the Pens game. This is another away game. We're in Pittsburgh here this time. And you want to start it off? What'd you see in the first period?
So, we start the Pittsburgh game. I watched the first period. After watching the first period, I went downstairs, watched a movie, because I was like, there's no use in watching this game. I don't understand. Like this is what I'm saying. I think if you have a game like the Washington Capitals game, where you started slow, and you're not coming out of the game, get out of the gate very well. And that's not the first game that this has happened, right? This is a continual trend with Montreal Canadiens this season, is we have not been starting games well. You have to be able to take out of a game against the Washington Capitals that you need that energy in that first period. And you have to go into the game in Pittsburgh with that energy there already, right? It has to be like preset. You have to be like, we can't repeat what we just did. We have to do better. Nope.
Didn't do anything.
Like it's just not there. There's nothing. It's like you're not giving me anything to work with as a fan. Like there's no energy to watch here, right? Like we don't do anything. Of course, at the end of the first period, there was a goal. Do you know who scored that goal? Was that the Crosby goal?
Yeah, the certified Hab killer. His entire career. He gets down on one knee. He's beyond the hash marks and just snipes it in. This one, I think it was Primo. Primo should have had that one.
I think it was Montebo. Montebo on.
It was Montebo
on Saturday. So I got the fantasy points.
This one he definitely should have had. But then again, it is Crosby. So, I mean, first period he gets that wrister. He's on one knee, just flying in the zone. Gets that one. We go into the second period. Honestly, not a super eventful second period. I think we hit a post or two. Caulfield hit the outside of the post early in the period. Yep. And then they get another power play towards the end of the period, and sure enough, Mr. Habs killer Sidney Crosby again on the power play scores from Carlson and Letang. 2-0 heading into the third. And nothing,
but with no energy either. Nothing building. No like feeling that we're gonna get out of this or we're gonna come back or anything like that. Right?
You do get a little bit of a spark. Unlikely score. Christian Dvorak. 5 minutes.
I don't know where this one came from.
Yeah, this was random. Christian Dvorak scoring a goal from Heineman and Slav. We can talk about Heineman a bit later. But yeah, that one was completely random.
Yep.
I don't even think he looked at the net. I think he just shot the puck. But it got in, so it gave us a bit of hope.
Yep. No, I mean, we'll take it, right? I mean, I've been roasting Christian Dvorak all year.
Yeah.
Because he's just been bad.
Yeah.
Somehow, in this game, looking at like some of the advanced stats, Christian Dvorak was their best player on the ice.
Box score. Dvorak. 3 shots on goal, +1.
+1 is pretty tough in a game that you lose.
That is true.
But and not only does he look good on this chart, he looks very good. Like he's in a really good quadrant of this box that I'm looking at. Now that's also a function of the fact that he's not getting a lot of ice time. So if he does a little bit of good, but doesn't get a lot of ice time, that's going to be like all of these stats are per 60 minutes, right? So you're going to see the effect of them being more. This Pittsburgh game, it happened in Pittsburgh. It happened in the Washington game as well. Marty St. Louis is starting to mix some things up with the lines, right? I believe the Pittsburgh game was the one where he put Emil Heineman on the first line. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what the line was going into Pittsburgh. And again, it's a choice, right? Like you're putting Emil Heineman, a fourth line player, or actually he might have done it in the Washington game. And the question that people had, and I'll ask this to you too, Nathan, is like, if you're going to put Emil Heineman on the first line of the team to play with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, do you not think that he should also be getting some power play time?
Absolutely. I mean, if we're going to rely on him up there getting first line minutes, yeah, he should be on that power play.
Should be on that power play, right?
Yep.
And you know who didn't have any power play time in the game? And this is where, like, I have this qualm, right? This problem, I guess, with Marty St. Louis' style of doing things sometimes is like, I understand that from Marty's perspective, he wants to shuffle some things up. He wants to get the lines going. He wants to find the combinations that are going to do the best overall for his team, right? Fine. But if you're going to tell a player like Heineman on one, and like, don't get me wrong, he's been playing fantastic, right? He's gotten some assists, he's gotten some goals. He looks like a very, very high quality scorer. If you're going to put him on that first line, it was in the Washington game because it was Josh Anderson who started the game in Pittsburgh, I think, on that first line. That sounds right. Everything was getting shuffled up, to be completely honest. I don't exactly know which line is which, but I know how Heineman had a whole game on that first line. It's like, if you're going to tell him he's going to go on the first line and you're not going to give him any minutes on the power play, then it's like, you're not really telling him that he's being rewarded. You're just telling him, hey, can you be this filler person, you know, and see if you work with these two guys, but you're not actually that good. Like, we don't think you're supposed to be on the first line, right? It's like so backwards. You know, if you're a first-line player, you're a first-line player.
Yeah, it's got to be like full send or no send. You got to put him there and keep him in that position all the way, or don't put him there at all.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, he's been trying some other combinations out. The one that was, I think last night against, we'll go into the Calgary game. We lose the Pittsburgh game 3-1. They score an empty net goal, I think, right?
Yeah, they get an empty netter.
Yeah, which again, a lot closer game than it should have been. We had no business being in that game, like no business whatsoever. We go into this Calgary game. The Calgary game, they put Kirby Dach back up with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, and then put Uri Slafkovsky on a line with Jake Evans and Alex Newhook, which, again, like Montreal does not have center depth, and now you're taking Kirby Dach, who's supposed to be a center, and Alex Newhook, who's supposed to be a center, and putting them on the wing. I don't know who was playing center on the last two lines. Like, I'm assuming it's Christian Dvorak and maybe Oliver Kapanen on the fourth line, maybe, but whoever it was, that's who we start with. And so take us through this game in Calgary.
Yeah, I mean, this one finally a home game. First period, too eventful. I mean, there was a stretch like 3 minutes through the last. There was a stretch of 3 minutes, like towards the end of the period there. I think Montreal got like 8 or 9 shots, just rapid fire. And then I think Calgary came down and hit a post, didn't go in. And that was pretty much all that happened the first. Nothing too crazy.
That first, though, was considerable. Like, this is what I'm talking about. When I'm saying that you have to look in the past and say, we're not starting the games well enough, this was the start that we were supposed to have.
Yep.
Now, we don't capitalize on anything, which, again, without Patrick Laine in the lineup, without a few other players here yet, we don't really have a lot of scoring power. So you're going to have some of these periods where you completely dominate the ice and you're playing very well, but you don't score. That's okay. Good momentum, good energy. It'll pay off eventually, is what the coaches like to say, right?
Yep.
Go into the second period.
Second period, minutes in. Connor Zary scores. There's a weird scramble play out front. I think yesterday was Primo, or was Montembeau?
No, Montembeau as well.
Yeah, yesterday was Montembeau. Yeah, it was just a big scramble in front. Kadri had a shot, he saved it. Somebody else had a shot, he saved it. But then by that point, there are like 4 bodies on the ice, and then Connor Zary comes in, just puts it in the net. It's a pretty simple goal for him. So that was the first goal of the game. So 1-0 Calgary. And then 5 minutes left in the period. Habs are on the power play. And our second star once again, Brendan Gallagher, gets another one. Another nice one. He's on the right wing there and just fires it. It was just a nice shot from Armia and Kapanen. It's what we want to see out of him.
And again, like Hutson on that second power play unit, playing out there, making space. Like the most underrated part of what Lane Hutson's doing on the ice right now is freeing up other people.
Yep.
Right. And when the Montreal Canadiens figure out how to use that extra space and figure out like this is going to be a very dangerous team, just when Lane Hutson's on the ice because of what he does.
I think towards the end of this period, correct me if I'm wrong, but Slav had a chance just right in the slot, and he rips it off the post.
Yuri Slavkovsky, man.
Yeah.
He had a chance, I think, on that power play actually.
Yeah. Okay.
As well. I don't know if you saw this one. There's a puck that bounced off the goaltender, I guess, is in midair. It doesn't. Sorry, this is key. It does not bounce off of the goaltender. It hits his stick. Right, he's in front of the net. It hits his stick. He goes to try to backhand it into the net. All he has to do is raise the puck above the pad. It's a goal. But because the puck hit his stick broke. So when he tries to backhand it, the stick just disintegrated. He had nothing on the shot. It got saved easily. That was like one of those moments where you go, "Oh, it's right there," but he can't. He can't do anything, right? Like the stick broke. But it's like it's this close, and then he puts one off the post. That was, I think, a 5-on-5 play.
Yeah.
Newhook had, I think, 4 shots on goal. But that line in general, like, looked very good. I was very, very happy with the energy that line brought every shift. I thought they were playing really well together. And I've said this before. I think long term, it's okay if Kirby Dach is a winger and is a winger on that first line.
Yep.
Right? Like, I think he complements them pretty well, actually. It does make it a little awkward that you have 3 right-handed shots on one line, but it'll do until Ivan Demidov gets here or
Patrick Laine.
Because I think is Demidov a left-handed shot? He might be a right-handed shot as well.
Bunch of righties, it's fine.
Yeah.
On their off wings, it's all good.
Yeah.
So now we're heading into the third period. 1-1. Gallagher gets the last goal, the latest goal. And Calgary gets a power play. Not good for us, right? They're on the power play. They're all over us. Because you know what happens? Jake Evans finds Yoel Armia flying up the ice and pots it in. Shorthanded. Bang. 2-1. That's the spark we need, right? That's what keeps us alive.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Trending towards victory right now.
Yeah.
And everybody who talks to me about hockey knows one of my favorite stats is not your power play percentage or your penalty kill percentage. It's your net power play percentage and your net penalty kill percentage. This is a win. Any shorthanded goal, right, takes away on a net percentage from the power play goals that have been scored against. And so in my head, scoring that goal, our penalty kill just got even better than it was, even if that's not shown in the penalty kill percentage thing,
That is not an accurate stat.
It is. It's a real thing. They track it on the NHL website.
That is stupid. Why would you retract that from power play goals against you?
Well, because it's shorthanded, right? And so like that's just to say your penalty kill is so good that you actually scored on it. You know what I mean? It's like it's scoring on it's even is like making up for one of the ones you gave up.
You know another stat? The Calgary Flames have allowed the most shorthanded goals this season.
Ouch.
Yeah. But that's fine. We'll take
Ouch.
it. We will take it. I just don't think it's a very valid stat to say that a goal shorthanded subtracts a goal scored against us when we're on the PK.
Hey, well, I like it better because it's what allows me to say we were a negative power play team in the preseason.
Yes.
because we scored -1 goals and 30 opportunities there.
Yeah.
But it also like, look, back when Paulie Byron was on the team, he would score 3 to 4 or 5 shorthanded goals a season, and he was fantastic as a third, fourth line option there. But like, if you've got players like that who can capitalize on the other team maybe taking too much risk on their power play, I think that should. I think that should be accounted for, because you might take a little bit more risk as a penalty killer and go get that goal, and sometimes that'll like contribute to more goals scored against you. So that's why I think you should net it out, right? Is because like the net effect of your penalty kill was that 18 goals were scored against you instead of like say 19, because you got a shorty back, right?
That's fair.
Some teams don't score shorthanded goals because they just don't have that capacity.
Let us know in the comments if you think that this should be how it goes, or if this is just complete BS. Okay, well, we'll continue going with the second period, or the third period now. So we have all that energy, right? It's 2-1. They haven't scored anything since that first goal in the second, and there is 2-3 minutes left in the game. Who would have guessed that Matt Coronado was scored? He scores, assisted by Blake Coleman, to make the game 2-2. That is the end of regulation.
This team, okay, the Montreal Canadiens, if you look at some of the advanced metrics that people look at when they look at heat maps of where shots are coming from in different scenarios in the game, okay, Montreal plays very good hockey when they are down or when they're tied. When they're up, especially by 1 goal, everything goes out the window. Like, the number of high danger scoring chances that we give up, the number of times that our defensemen are not where they're supposed to be and allow players to get into places that they're not supposed to get to, it's ridiculous. Like, we cannot, as a team, be like, oh, we're winning 2-1, don't worry, our goaltender's going to save us. And that's what we did in this game. Like, we were up 2-1. We should win this game 50% of the time at least, if not more, right? And it just felt, after we scored that goal, like, yeah, we're supposed to have this energy. We're supposed to be feeling good. We just gave it all up.
Give it all up.
And then that goes into overtime. Which, I mean, hey, at least we get into overtime, we get a point, if we're still trying to be on this playoff race or whatever. But
yeah, we get that. We get the point, but Calgary, within 7 seconds, manages to go from center ice, the playoff dot, the face-off dot, all the way down, and Matt Coronado again snipes it over Montembeau's glove.
I didn't know what happened. I honestly, I looked down, the period started, I looked up, and then I heard that there's a goal, and I looked down, and I was like, wow, that's okay. Sure. I don't know what Matheson is doing out there. I don't think he played that right at all. I mean, Nick Suzuki takes the face-off, I think, right? And he takes the face-off, and he wins it, but he doesn't win it well enough to get the puck back. And then our players don't come in fast enough to retrieve the puck. And at the end of the day, if it's on the defenseman, but it's also on the other forward, I think it was Caulfield, to come into that face-off and get that puck that your guy won, right? It doesn't happen. They bring the puck in. Matheson can't defend because he's Matheson. And then they score. That was game over. Okay.
I think that summarizes the last 3 games for the Habs there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we want to go into takeaways now? I've got one big thing I want to speak on, but
yeah, go. Tell us, Nathan, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, this week our defending was subpar.
Go off. Tell us.
The Montreal Canadiens defending this week was subpar. There were
big words. Remember, we're making shorts here too, eh?
We are.
Got to get those big words in here.
Yeah.
It was not subpar. It was goddamn awful. I have not seen them.
The Canadiens defending this week was awful. Absolutely horrendous. So, in that game against Washington, I don't know if our defenders are just tired or something, but they're making these lazy plays in the offensive end where they're beating us to the puck, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1. And I think there was like 2 or 3 times in that game where Cole Caulfield was busting his ass to get all the way back to try and stop a play from happening. I think he did twice, and then on one of them they scored. That just can't be happening. And then we saw the same thing happen in Pittsburgh a few times, and in Calgary we were a bit better. I don't know if it was because we were at home, but it still wasn't great defending.
That play that Lane Hutson had, I don't know if you saw it, where he got the puck away from what's his name? Do you know who I'm talking about? Was it Kadri that he got the puck from? I think it was Kadri. Okay. So Lane Hutson hops into the offensive play. This is what the defensemen are supposed to do, by the way. Like I'm saying this as if this is some grand thing, but just on what Nathan just said. Like if you're a defenseman and you hop up into the offensive play, like Lane Hutson likes to do, he's the second guy back, and more importantly, he's the guy that lifts Kadri's stick in the neutral zone, gets the puck off of him, and makes a play to be able to get the puck out of his zone, right? Is like, okay, fine, go hop up to your point, right? Go up and hop up in these offensive plays. But like, you have to be able to get back.
You've heard the term forecheck, backcheck, paycheck. Lane Hutson's the only one that actually follows that model. The rest of the defense, they just forecheck and then expect a paycheck.
The guy works so hard.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember a player, like I want to say maybe Brendan Gallagher when he was like a little bit younger, like that has this level of compete, that is just always like throwing himself into these things and like skating as hard as he can always. I don't know if you saw the video. They had to do those what's it called when you skate from your red line to the blue line, back to the red line to the
suicides. And he was
suicides.
He was completely fine at the end of it, and then the rest of the video was Caden Gooley just panting, absolutely dying, and I think it was Brendan Gallagher also just gassed. But Lane Hutson wins. He was the fastest in the suicides, and he was just skating around like nothing had happened. He's got the most stamina on the team, like by far. He should be having the most minutes.
Should be on the first power play unit.
Yeah.
I saw a post. Everybody who is in the United States or was watching the U.S. election, I love Habs Twitter, because yesterday was the U.S. election, and all I'm seeing are memes about the Montreal Canadiens. Right, like somebody was like, "Hey, I know he's old, but like, man, he makes too many people divided. We just can't agree on whether or not he's good or not. We need to trade David Savard." Right, and so you're reading that and you're thinking it's about a presidential candidate, but it's like, oh, it's David Savard. Okay, there's another one. I said, hey, today, remember, when you cast your vote, make sure that you check the box next to Lane Hutson for Power Play 1, right? It's ridiculous. This guy deserves it. This guy's playing so well. He's making so many good plays. And we just keep going with this, oh, we're going to put Mike Matheson in here, and it's all going to be fine. Like, what are you doing?
I think we've already seen it. I think, how many games are we into the season now? Like 13? He's our best defender. Best defender.
He is by like a lot too, right? Like It's not like he's good defensively, first of all. And the way he's good defensively too, right? It's not that he's big and strong and whatever. Is the way he forechecks, but then backchecks. Mm-hmm. Is the puck is always in the offensive zone or under his control in the defensive zone, right? There are a few plays, sure, where he doesn't make the best plays, or he can't make the best plays because he's not big enough. And that's going to happen. But like on average, this kid is just making good opportunities for the team. And you got to put him, I don't understand how you don't put him on the first power play unit.
But Marty St. Louis, let him call the shots.
Let him until they fire him, man.
Marty St. Louis, if you're listening to this, make up your mind for at least a few games to keep a first line together. You can't just leave him out there one game and expect it all magic to work.
Hey. On that note, though, stop putting Josh Anderson on the first line. He can't play with Suzuki and Caulfield. It's never worked. It's been tried time and time and time again, and it has never worked. On who could play on that first line? Oliver Kapanen today. We'll move into a little bit of the news of the week, and then we can do some other things in the NHL. But Oliver Kapanen today gets sent back to Sweden. So this is big, right? I mean, again, we knew that like he can't get sent back down to Laval. That's not an option for him. This is and him getting sent to Sweden means he's there for the rest of the season. So say bye-bye to Oliver Kapanen and anybody who liked how he's playing. right? The key for him from a development perspective is he now gets to go into Sweden as one of the best players on that team. He's going to have lots of ice time to develop, and hopefully he develops very well, and he'll come back next year, right? But it frees up a spot on the roster. And so who would you like to see on the Laval Rocket coming up to Montreal? Well, you could bring up Joshua Waugh, who's scored like a goal per game in the AHL and has been playing really good hockey and has shown in the past that he's an NHL caliber player, just didn't have a good preseason. Or, I don't know, I guess if you're the Montreal Canadiens, you can bring up Lucas Condotta so that, so he can sit up in the rafters with the other guys that are scratched every night. Like, what are we doing here?
So we're giving guys opportunities who should not be given opportunities because we have other guys that can fill in their spot.
And the thing here too, right? Like, to me, if you want to fill that gap on the first line, you need to find a player who can complement those two players, right? And I mean, Doc has done it in the past. Slavkovsky has done it, did it at the end of last season pretty well. Eventually. I have long-term plans here, man. You can't make me too excited. The guy is too good.
Or should I say...
Nathan DeCosta with the new mic, everybody.
I got a new
podcast.
It was my birthday a few days ago, and this is what I got for my birthday. I asked for a microphone.
Everybody say happy birthday to Nathan in the comments.
Yes. Speaking about... Oh, we got to fill someone in the first line there.
Yeah, you got to do it, right? And it's like there's nobody else on the team. Like, I mean, we've tried Slavkovsky up there. We've tried Doc up there. I think Doc could be a solution. I really do. But if you want to try some other things, like bring up Joshua Waugh, who has played with Connor Bedard, who Connor Bedard said is one of the smartest guys he's ever played with, right? Who has played alongside a bunch of other super talented guys on the World Junior teams and has complemented them very well. Bring up that guy. Don't just like now we're gonna put Michael Pezzetta into the lineup. It's like we're trying to build something here, right? And as great as Michael Pezzetta is, and I love his work ethic, man. Like I love everything Michael does. Josh is gonna be on this team long term. If he fits with those two, like get them to start developing this stuff.
I'm afraid that if we don't get our shit together within the next 2 to 3 weeks, it really is just going to be another rebuild year. Which,
man, but before that point that we got, we were tied for like 29th in the league or something like that. Maybe sorry, this might actually still be the case. I just realized I'm looking at a week ago's standings. We are 29th in the league right now in points.
That
out of 32.
Yeah.
We're sorry. Let's put that better. We're 4th last in the NHL. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. James Higgins has looked really good this season. So, if that's the consolation prize, but like we're trying to take steps here, everybody. We don't want to keep picking like the Edmonton Oilers, the first overall pick or the 4th or 5th overall picks. Like we got to build.
Yeah, we have to build. We have to keep building. And it's not even like we have a easy schedule either. We play New Jersey, Toronto, and Buffalo this next 3 games. Buffalo. Hopefully we can get that done. But New Jersey,
I want to go to that Buffalo game, man.
Pardon?
I want to go to that Buffalo game.
Me too, but it's at 12:30 p.m. on a Monday.
Is it actually?
Yes, it's at 12:30.
What on earth?
Yeah, I know. I was looking at going too. I was like, why is it 12:30?
That's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, 12:30 on Monday.
Okay, never mind. It won't be going to that.
Yep.
Be like, work. Hey, I'm sick. Sorry.
Sorry, I work fully remotely, but I'm sick and I can't go to my laptop.
Yeah. I can't get out of bed, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ignore my Instagram post.
Yeah. Ignore me taking a selfie with Slav at the end of the game.
Hey, in Buffalo, it's pretty easy to say hi to the players. There's I'm sleeping at 12:30 too. Who else is going to that game, man? Like they have a hard enough time filling the arena usually.
I'm wondering if is it an American holiday? Because that's the only thing that would make sense.
No, I mean American Thanksgiving is the end of the month. Like it's 28th. I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah,
is it Remembrance Day?
It's
it might be Remembrance Day. Which, speaking of Remembrance Day, we'll go into my little segment. Everybody, get your poppies. as someone very wise used to say, get your poppies. There are people that have fought for your ability to be free in this country and do all the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. This country is fantastic. We have so many good things that are set up in place so that people can succeed and can do things like you and I are doing here today, Nathan. And that is only the case because of the people who fought for the country. And that's why we wear a poppy, is to remember all those people and to say thanks, because it is a great country, and what they have built and what those people have put their lives on the line to defend is the freedom that we have today. And so get your poppies. It's Remembrance Day, November 11th, but get them before that, put them on before that, support it, because this is important. This is what Canada is. This is how Canada was built, and we got to remember that.
Flanders Fields. Listen to that multiple times on November 11th. It's a good song. I mean, I'd listen to that thing. Not on the regular, but I mean, it's a good song. It's a good song.
Man, do you ever try singing that like whistling like the Remembrance Day thing, but then accidentally going to the Star Wars or whatever? It's like the beginnings are very close. Anyways,
no, I have not done that.
Okay. Off of the Habs. Is there anything else you want to say on the Habs?
Defensemen, if any of you defenders are watching this right now, please back check. If you're gonna forecheck, make sure you back check.
And if you want to see how to do it, call up Nathan DaCosta. He can show you.
I will show you my tape.
Master.
I will show you my tape from single A hockey when I was 13, or even better, house league hockey when I was 17. So I'll show you that if you want it.
Man, we'll get you the clips of his intramural hockey from the University of Waterloo.
Yep.
And we'll put them up there so that
I can also show you how to shoot.
You can see how to play.
I can show you how to shoot as well if you'd like. If you'd like some shooting tips, I'll show you.
Yeah. If you'd like to miss the net by 10 feet instead of 3 feet, call Nathan DaCosta.
Yeah, if you'd like to shoot field goals when you should be shooting at the net, hit me up.
Perfect. Before we go into the rest of the NHL, we've got 3 games in between now and next week, Nathan. I know we play Buffalo. I think you said them, right? We say Buffalo on, is it Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
Buffalo on Monday, Toronto this Saturday in Toronto, and then in New Jersey tomorrow on Thursday. Correct?
Yep, that is right.
Do we have a game next Wednesday as well by any chance?
No, we play the Wild on Thursday.
On Thursday. Okay, cool. So just the 3 games between this podcast and next podcast. I hope you can watch them. I honestly don't know where they play these games anymore. They like to play them on all of these different streaming services, so that I'm always confused as to where to watch them. But ESPN. I guess that's one way to run a league. Oh yeah, ESPN. Let's watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What else is going on in the NHL, Nathan? What else are you following?
Last week, we had the series in Finland.
We did?
Or was that 2 weeks ago?
I honestly, I don't know.
I believe it was this last weekend. Florida played Dallas in Finland.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bennett didn't get any points.
Nope. They had back-to-back games, Saturday, Sunday. Florida won both of those. I think it was 4-2 both games. But, Barkov put on a show for his hometown there in Finland. That was pretty cool to see. Other than that, I don't think there's anything like crazy notable from this past week. I mean, last night, did you see the injury to the St. Louis Blues player last night? I forget who it was. Was it Perenko?
No. What happened?
I forget who it was. If you can look it up, but the guy took a puck off the neck, and it was just a shot from the point, a wrist shot from the point, and he deflects it with the stick, and it comes up into his neck area here, and he plays the rest of his shift. Do you see who it is?
Dylan Holloway.
Oh yeah, Dylan Holloway. Yeah, so a puck comes up into his neck, and he plays the rest of the shift. So it must have been like 30 seconds playing the shift. Normally, everything looks fine. Gets to the bench, and is grabbing his neck, and the camera pans back over to him because there was a penalty on the play, and there was an injury on the St. Louis Blues bench, and it was Dylan Holloway. And when the camera pans back to him, he's grabbing his neck, and you can just see in his eyes that his mind is not there. Like, he looks like he's fainted. It looks like he's just out of it. So they get the entire medical teams from both teams to come to him. They stop the play for like 8 minutes, and he's taken off the bench on a stretcher into the locker room, and then he's taken to the hospital, but everything was fine. What ended up happening was he got a nerve struck that I'm not sure what the nerve is called, but it's one of the key nerves, and he just went lightheaded and didn't know where he was. Yeah.
This is his quote from this. I'm just reading this in this article. He goes, after the 2-on-1, I got the puck in the corner. I think I passed it up to Suits. After that, I thought I went and changed. It got really blurry. I didn't remember because I stayed out a little bit longer, but didn't remember that. Don't really remember coming to the bench. Blacked out for a bit. That's so scary.
He's lucky it was just like a temporary thing, because apparently he's fine. He was practicing today, and he should be good for his game. I think he plays tomorrow. That's terrifying.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
But other than that, I don't. Oh, Marc-Andre Fleury had his last game in Pittsburgh.
I feel like that was last week. I think you said this on the podcast.
That was last week. Do you have any notable things?
Well, I was going to say Winnipeg won last night, 3-0. Connor Hellebuck gets another shutout. The Winnipeg Jets, everybody, 12-1. Sorry, not even 12. 12-1-0 through 13 games in the season. They have a goal differential of plus 32. Okay, in 13 games. That means they're scoring on average almost 3 goals more than their opponents per game. Okay, the team is on fire. The team is doing so well, and they still can't sell out their whole arena, which is I like last night's game. Arena was not full. Viewership, not high.
Dude, what do they need? Because when they have the whiteouts in the playoffs, they get everything. But that's because of the playoffs. They got to figure out something to get.
Man, and it's so exciting hockey though. Like you're 12-1. This is a fantastic start to the season. This is not something anybody predicted would happen.
No, they're the 6th team in NHL history to start a season 12-1.
Well, I'm sure there's a few Montreal teams on that list. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that the team that has the most real points in a season. Yeah, you know that whole thing, right? Like with the who has more points in a season in terms of the teams, because Boston set a new record, right? Allegedly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know the whole controversy around that, right?
What?
So Boston, I think not last year, it was the year before, right? They got the most points any team has ever got in a season, right? They beat a Montreal Canadiens team, the 97 team, I want to say, 97, 98, by 1 point. 1 regular season point. In 78, if you were tied after 3 periods, you did not go to overtime. You just ended the game, you got 1 point, and that was it. And so the Boston Bruins are out here being like, oh, we're the best team ever. We've got the most points ever. It wasn't true because the Montreal Canadiens tied 6 games. And all they would have had to do, which sounds really difficult for a team that is the best team of all time, basically, is win one of those games, right? In overtime, if there's an overtime. And they would have been tied. They would needed to win 2 out of 6 in order to be in first. By themselves. So this whole Boston thing is all BS. Like it's not actually the record should not be in Boston's hands because they count everything differently. They do things differently.
The game, but next year the Montreal Canadiens will take that record back.
I don't know if it's gonna be next year, everybody. I wouldn't bet money on that. Give Demidov 2 years, okay? First year comes in, gets settled in. By the time he's in his second season, I expect to be not just his first season, we better be pushing for a playoff spot. If not, being very securely in that wild card race, right? If not a little bit higher than that, right? By the season after, we should be, by all accounts, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Maybe not the top. Maybe we can work our way up there, but top 5 probably. And that's the goal right now, I think. and we have the skill to do it. It's just whether or not we actually have the defensemen that can support this team long term. We have the goalies. I can't wait for Jacob Fowler to come, but he's 19. He's playing fantastic over in Michigan. I think I looked this up the other day. He's got like a 942 save percentage with like crazy. We got the future. We just need to know if the defensemen work out.
Yeah.
Which, as you were saying earlier,
we need new defensemen. We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do.
No development, everybody. Nobody gets to develop. Get rid of them all, Nathan DeCasha says. Bring in some new ones.
Dude, like Matheson is getting old. He looks like he's the slowest defenseman.
Yo, get him out. I've been saying that for years. David Savard too. I don't know what he's still doing here. I want to see 6 rookie defensemen. Okay, that's what I want. I want 6 young rookie defensemen. Throw them out to the Wolves. Bring Logan Mailloux up. Let Caden Gooley play on the left side of the ice, because one of the reasons that he isn't amazing is because he's playing his offside.
Louis, just have him do some more suicides, because they need to have some more gas in the tank, because they have it for 40 minutes, but then the last 20, I don't know what the hell happens. It's only
if you do more suicides. If you do more suicides, though, these guys aren't going to have any energy to play the games, eh?
Yeah. Boy. Boy. Okay, well, we play the New Jersey Devils tomorrow. Do you have more to cover from this week? Or
No, not from this week. I mean, looking around the NHL, I don't know about you. I find it very, very, very interesting, I guess. The Philadelphia Flyers last in the league, tied with the Nashville Predators. Who would have thought that the Montreal Canadiens right now would be tied with the San Jose Sharks for second last in the league, basically. But Nashville, like the team that made all of these moves in the offseason, the team that went all in and has the goalie and has the defenseman, like what's going on there?
I don't know. And they have Stammer. Like they have so many names, like big names with well-developed hockey resumes, but they're just not getting it done. I don't know. I honestly have not watched too much of the Nashville games. I know looks like we're playing them in December. I'll watch some of their highlights, but I don't know what's going wrong over there, but they got to figure it out.
They're not too hot. I mean, Edmonton didn't start off too hot, but they've been climbing steadily. Up in 16th now in the league. They're back to like a 500. Like they were last in the league a few games ago. Again, everybody, this is still so early. We are only 3 wins away from being a 500 team, right? And realistically, that's where we want to be. Like as we talked about before, if we can be a 500 team when Laine gets back, we should be okay, right? That we should be pushing for a playoff spot. The problem is it's not easy to get those 3 wins, right? And we have not put together 3 good games in a row, and we have not played our style hockey, our brand of hockey, 3 games in a row.
Around tomorrow. If we could turn around tomorrow against the Devils, that would be
the
massive.
Devils have been hot though.
Yeah, I know.
Devils have been so good.
Devils have been hot. But the one thing I will say about these Habs is they can sometimes pull out random wins out of their ass. Don't make any sense.
Against teams that they should not win against.
Yeah, and this is a team.
Put us down to win on Saturday.
Yep, in Toronto. I mean, they got it. They killed us in preseason, but it's the Leafs. They're gonna somehow choke it. Yeah, we're gonna win Saturday.
I mean, we beat them first game of the season, right?
Yep. At home. But yes, we still won.
What else are you following, Nathan?
What else?
Outside of hockey, what's been? I think was it last podcast that we were talking about the World Series being over?
Yeah, we finished that night, or that same day.
Yeah, because Dodgers win.
Yeah, Dodgers won that. Dodgers win. They've had a big parade, but it was pretty funny because they had all the buses to get to the spot of the parade, like the street, and they of course were stuck in LA traffic, and they were late to their home parade. Thought that was pretty funny. So that's what's going on in the
Los
MLB.
Angeles.
NBA.
How are the Raps doing?
Raptors suck per usual. They were up against the Nuggets, I think it was last night, and managed to choke like a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, lose the game. Disastrous. To be fair, they shouldn't have won.
It was Monday because I watched the last bit of that game.
Yeah.
And that's the one where we had a shot to win it, and in the dying seconds and just missed.
For you. Once we lost Kawhi Leonard, it was other major North American sport league, NFL. I went to the Bills game Sunday. That was pretty cool. Bills Dolphins, very, very tight game. 27-27 with 10 seconds left. And Tyler Bass, who misses a 3-point, just a field goal earlier in the game, misses an extra point, drills a 61-yarder. Let me tell you, I was there. This thing was a bomb. This thing could have carried 70 if it was out at 70. This guy didn't just barely get it, he drilled it. Like, right into the back of the... I'm done talking about it, because I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
Do you think some players just have like a clutch factor?
Tyler Bass is not one of them. He has been notoriously not clutch. He hits one of the most random field goals that he does not need to hit, because now, for those of you that don't know, Alex and I are both Miami Dolphins fans. That is nearly the dagger for our playoff chances. We're now 2-6.
Well, I feel like Tua Tagovailoa getting his. I should not have said his name. I'm gonna have to go edit that in our captions tonight. Him getting injured, him getting a 4th concussion or whatever it is now in his career. I think that ended the playoff chances, to be completely honest. But yeah, it doesn't help.
No, he honestly in that game he looked good. There was one bad thing.
Like played good or like looked mentally capable. Okay.
Except there was one play he almost killed himself again. He scrambles up the middle, dives head first, almost into like 3 defenders, but luckily they moved. If they did not move, he probably would have died. I don't know how he hasn't learned to slide yet, but
I mean, when he got the concussion this season, he's like going head first into the play. It's like, buddy, like quarterbacking 101, like feet first.
That's it. Outside the NHL, I'd say.
No, that's fair. I told you last week the F1 race last weekend in Brazil was going to be fun. It was a great race. Max Verstappen won. First time since June, I think he's won. Maybe July.
That he's won a race?
Yeah, he hasn't won a race since like July. It's all been McLaren and Ferrari.
Wow.
It's been a very exciting second half of the season. Yeah. No, but he won. So I was happy. I got him on my fantasy team.
That covers pretty much everything for this past week.
I think so.
Okay. Devils tomorrow. Leafs Saturday night. Sabres Monday afternoon. 12:30 makes no sense, but it's a game at 12:30 on Monday.
Let's do the opposite of what we did last week. Look, we're not supposed to win any of the games. We're not going to win any of the games. Everybody, don't watch, because if you watch, you're going to jinx it. But yeah, I mean, we're not expecting to win any of these 3 games, right, Nathan?
Exactly. We're not going to win any of these 3 games.
We're not going to win any of them.
Yeah. What will happen? So, on that note,
we're going to come back next week and we'll be like, damn, it didn't work.
Yeah. No, we'll come back with some good news, because right now we're on a 4-game losing streak, but you'll see us next week.
Yeah. On a 7-game losing streak. Yeah, that's
no. 3-game W streak.
Yeah. 2-6-2 in the last 10, by the way.
Everyone, thank you for watching again. We really appreciate all of you for those of you that make it to this point in the episode. Just thank you. For those of you listening on Spotify, thank you as well. Make sure you click that 5-star review there on Spotify. That helps us gain traction, get more viewership, helps us grow on Spotify. If you're on Apple Podcasts, what do they have to do?
I think it's the same thing.
Okay. Click the stars. Once again, helps us grow. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification. You'll get notified of our podcast that comes out every single Thursday morning. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and all the other platforms that I mentioned before. I think that's it.
Thank you for watching. Go Habs, go.
Go Habs, go.
Come back next week. We're already 11 episodes in. Episode 12 coming at you next week, maybe earlier if we do an interview in between then and now. But we'll see.
Oui. Au revoir et bonsoir.